I have a super special guest with me. I have a special guest every week, but this one is extra special because she is my trainer, Kasey Joe from Burn Bootcamp. Shout out to Burn for connecting us. But I'm so excited to have you on because I feel like recently we've been like getting like closer. Mm-hmm. But I don't know your whole story, your whole journey yet. And it's like so hard to have those conversations in the gym. So I'm going to have you do a little introduction of like what you do, because I know you do stuff outside of training.
Well, hello. Thank you for having me. So yes, I am a group trainer at Burn, which is super cool. We train about 30 to 40 people at a time. It's mostly an all women's gym, just trying to like empower women and
women and Zach.
We love girls. They're the best.
They're the best.
But yes, outside of that, I also take one-on-one personal clients. I'll go to their houses and train them in their home gyms. And then as well, I do it online. So I'll do online programming in conjunction with nutrition for one-on-one clients as well. So I really enjoy doing that because it's kind of like the overall picture where it's not just, lifting. It's, looking at more of like a holistic approach with doing like nutrition and mindset and all the things. So, that's pretty much so what I do.
Cool. That's a lot. And
it's
like,
a lot.
And that's
I
great.
like 3 jobs.
No, that's great. But it's cool that it's like all in the same industry. Yeah. Like it still feels like you and like you're passionate about doing it. And you're so good at doing it.
Oh, thank you.
I just always think about like our first, like our gym has something called focus meetings where we sit in with trainers, and our first meeting, I just start crying. I'm like, that's why I'm wearing this shirt.
I love it. Literally, like, cry your heart out. Like, I think it's so important. That makes me feel good too that you felt safe enough.
Oh my gosh,
that.
I definitely felt safe enough, and it was also like really vulnerable because like I had just like discovered that I had like disordered eating and stuff, and I was like going through a lot with my body, and like I felt like you were the right person to talk to, just because like knowing, like I knew that you did like holistic approaches and like you talked a lot about food. At the time you were posting a lot about food, and I was like, I need this. Like I need to like remind myself like it's okay to eat. Please eat. This is your body. So yeah, I just always think about that and how funny it was. I'm like, oh my gosh, I come in and I'm like,
I love it.
I'm like talking about my trauma with like my family and stuff. And you were so sweet. You're like, this is a place to cry. And I was like, okay.
You would be surprised how many people cry in those focus meetings.
Oh my gosh. It's like, it's so like health and nutrition, like outside of just like working out, is such a touchy subject, especially like for women as we get older, which I definitely want to talk to you more about in this conversation. Just like I've been telling myself lately, like it is okay that my body is aging. Like it's totally fine. And aging doesn't necessarily mean like more wrinkles, but it's like my hips are a little bit wider now, or like my pants like don't fit me the same and probably never will. But I'm excited to like just dive into all of that and get a little bit more about like what has inspired you. So like going into our first question, like what inspired you to get into like, would you call it wellness or more like nutrition? And
yeah, I would call it overall wellness because during my journey, I realized it was actually much deeper than just fitness and nutrition. So I would say it's more wellness as well. So what was your question?
So just like what inspired you? Like what's your story? How did you get into that? What inspired you to be a part of that industry?
Well, I started off being a personal trainer around 19 years old.
Oh,
and
wow.
I know, very young
in the
industry,
wow.
Which has its ups and downs, I would say. But yeah, I got into it because I wanted to major in kinesiology, which I did. And initially I wanted to do physical therapy, but then working in physical therapy offices, I realized I did not want to do that. And for many reasons, but I think I realized along my journey that there's so much more going on than just the physical. And that's what I wanted to really dive into, because during that time, I actually got very sick. TMI, but
no, you're good.
I got chronically constipated. I think
that's a thing?
It's a thing. Well, I don't know if that's like the scientific term, but it's a thing. And
wait, that's so scary.
Yeah. So I went like 2 to 3 weeks without like making a movement.
Oh,
essentially.
Oh my gosh.
I know. And then, in conjunction, like I was having severe stomach pain to the point where like I'm in bed. I do not want to go out. I'm so bloated. It's like it's so painful. And so then I went to the doctors, and then unfortunately it's like one of those things like, oh, like you're too young to be having these like types of GI problems. I'm like, no, really, like
you're like,
that's why I'm here.
Yeah, more of a red flag. Like, oh my gosh.
Yeah. So it was just, 2 years of like taking like these Chinese herbs to like make me pass the movement, going to different doctors. Like I was doing acupuncture, I was doing IVs, I was doing all these things. And then eventually it took myself like trial and error to like really get down to the root cause of the issue. And that, and, I think there wasn't one defining thing that like was the root cause. I think it was a multitude of things. I think a lot of it was disordered eating, like we talked about. I definitely suffered with that. And like, I don't want to call it an eating disorder because I was never like, diagnosed by a therapist. And so there is like a definitive line between the two, but chronically under eating. And I think a lot of that had to do with like being in the industry so young. I was working with like, Newport Beach clients who are just stunningly beautiful, perfect bodies and like have this expectations of what they want to look like. And so I think like as a 19-year-old, that's obviously very hard. And then you hop on all the trends, you're barely eating. Yeah. And then, so that was one thing. Another thing was too, I started like diving into the whole world of like psychosomatics. And so and spirituality too. But I really learned that, what happens in your mind really affects your physical body. And I forever had a hard time like expressing myself, being like my true authentic self or trusting myself. And I think your body reacts to that. It's like, well, if you don't trust me, if you like don't, let yourself be you, like your body like has a physical reaction to that too. And then also just like I said, when you're not eating enough food, you're not having enough nutrients to like make a movement.
Yeah, for sure.
And so as odd as that sounds, of course, the more I started talking to people about it, the more I realized so many women have like the same issue.
Oh my gosh, that's crazy.
So, that was kind of like the start was I, learned how to heal myself, and then I wanted to help others do the same. And then also too, like fitness is a part of that as well. Like I want women to feel strong and empowered and confident and not so much be so hyper fixated on the number on the scale, the size of your jeans, like what you were saying, so it all kind of goes hand in hand, just finding your, confidence and being like your healthiest self. I think that's what inspired me to start my own business.
Wow. And that's so cool. I had no idea that you were struggling with that. That's
not
so
anymore.
Intense. Yeah, you're like, my boobs are great.
I love pooping.
I do too. We talked about poop our first like meeting too, and I was like, listen, except I had the opposite problem, which is not good either. But I think it's like so true what you're saying about like your gut health. Like when I was diagnosed with gastritis back in 2018. I don't know if you know the story, but it was in Peru because like I had a stomach ulcer. I was like a new mom, and I was just like, why do I keep pooping in my pants? Like why is this a thing? It should not happen more than once. And then my mom was just like, and I was like so bloated too that I looked pregnant. And my mom was just so tired of me complaining. Like she was like, you need to go to the doctor and get it figured out. And it's like scary because like Peru's like low key, like I don't know if it's a third world country, but like they put me in this room and there's like a curtain and it just felt scary. Like I was like, oh my gosh. And then they did an endoscopy and then everything was in Spanish when I woke. And I like woke up from like being passed out. So I had no idea exactly what they were saying, but they were saying like I had like a stomach ulcer and on top of that I had gastritis. And I was like, okay, cool, love that. And so they put love that for me. So they put me on meds that aren't legal in the US. So my ulcer went away while we spent the rest of our trip out there. And then when I came back, I was out of meds and I was like, I don't know what to do. So I went to the doctors out here. And then the first thing they asked me was like, how bad is your anxiety? And I was like, oh, it's so bad. Like I overthink. I'm just like up at night. And at the time I wasn't working out, which I think working out for me has helped so much with anxiety. But and I was just like a newer mom, so I like didn't feel like confident in like my role and I was working too much. So anyways, with all that to say, I remember the doctors were like, you have to like work on like your mind and your anxiety because that's going to affect your gut. And I was just like, whoa. And then I started reading books and doing research and I was like, okay, our mind really is so affected, like, or affects our gut. So I love that you like, what was the word?
Psychosomatic.
what's
psychosomatic? I don't know. Like, it's essentially like how like your thoughts are affecting like your physical body. And I'm not like a psychologist, so I don't know the proper terminology or definition, but it's essentially like kind of what it is.
Okay. Yeah. That's so, it's so crazy. Anytime I like am experiencing like a stomach ache or like anything weird with eating, I'm always like, okay, what's really affecting my mind right now? And I like kind of look in deeper, which is really cool. So that's awesome. I love that. I wanted to ask you, because you were kind of talking about like fasting and like not eating as much like back when you were 19 years old. Are there any like health or like diet fads that you are against? I feel like fasting is a huge one right now, but I want to know, which these might be controversial, but I want to know like your thoughts on like fads and diets that you are down with and then the ones that you're not down with.
Yeah, I am mostly not down with any type of diet fad. But fasting is definitely one I am really, really passionately against, because I did it for years. The whole 8-hour window. I wouldn't eat till like 2 p.m. Yeah. Sometimes I did like a 72-hour fast.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Like every diet you can name, I've done it.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That's
talk
crazy.
about disordered eating. Wow. It was bad.
Oh.
And so because of that, that's why I don't support like any sort of diet whatsoever. Fasting is a big one right now, I say, and I think it's been a big one for a while. And the reason why I don't support it is for a few reasons. The first one is that if you're like us, or like a lot of people in our demographic in our area, if you work out, do like a high intensity type of training in the morning without any fuel, your body needs fuel to support that type of training. So your body's actually taking fuel from your muscles. And so rather than like glycogen, like if you were to eat before. So I just see it all the time when women are like, I'm literally not eating. I'm in the gym 5 to 6 times a week and I still can't lose weight. And I'm like, it's because your body's literally pulling from your muscle. Yeah. For energy. And so you're just in this constant state of pulling from your muscle and trying to repair your muscle, pulling from your muscle and trying to repair your muscle. So you can't actually your workout's not benefiting you. Yeah. And then 2, when you fast for like prolonged amount of time, your hormones start to get affected, especially for women. I would say men are not as affected as women. And I think a lot of the studies are mostly done on men. Of course. We're just like completely different creatures. You can't compare at all. And so I notice, people are like, oh, I'm never hungry. I'm not hungry until dinner. But they have these crashes. They have these mood swings. They have all this bloating and that. I'm like, why don't you start eating breakfast? And this is something I do with my clients a lot, is like getting them to start eating breakfast, and something small, like something as little as like Greek yogurt. And I'm like, you're not going to want to do it. You're probably going to be repulsed by it actually in the beginning if you're not hungry. But as you do it over time, they tend to notice they get hunger cues back, because you want to wake up hungry. That's like a good sign, like metabolism's firing. Okay, good, because I wake
up so hungry.
That's awesome. No,
that's like amazing. That's not normal. No, I'm like nauseous. I'm like, give me food.
No, that's feed me.
It's so bad, because he can like wait like 4 hours before like eating, and I'm like, I need it right now. Like, so that's good. I'm glad.
No, that's great. That means everything's working good. And then like I notice with my clients, they're like, I feel so much better. I have so much more energy throughout the day, after, time of getting yourself there. So I would say that's like a big one that I'm really against. I hate keto. I hate carnivore. I am not a big fan of veganism. At the end of the day, I think we are omnivores. You need to eat meat. You need to eat plants. You need it all.
The food groups.
You need it all. And I think we are so like stuck in this cycle of, and I don't blame anyone, because society, like everything about nutrition is so contradicting all the information out there. And so that's why it's like, if it's made in nature, eat it. Eat 80% well and 20% enjoy yourself. Like go out.
I love that.
Have dessert. Because if you don't, that's when like the mental state, towards food gets negatively impacted. Because it's a relationship. You're going to start having a bad relationship with food. You're going to start having a bad relationship with your body. It's just a cycle you don't want to go down. So that's kind of what I just do with my clients. I try to teach them like, it's okay. It's okay to have dessert. It's okay to eat the French fries.
Yes.
But then like just hop back on it.
everything in moderation, everything balanced, like, which is why, like, I love being in a gym that's like predominantly all women, and then my husband and my husband's friends.
I know.
But it is
our
cool.
golden males.
But it's cool to talk about, like, to hear you guys like talking and to see you guys like eating actual food. Like, I see you guys eating like good nutritious meals, but also like we'll go out and have a drink and like things like that. Like, I don't think anything, I've never seen you guys restricting yourselves, which is so cool. Cause like I'm 30 now, and like I've never had to worry about like my weight or my body before, which is like it's like so spoiled for me to even like, I grew up just being always told like I was too small, I'm skinny, I'm the skinny one. And it has done a lot of like damaging things to my sister, because her and I have completely different bodies, and she's really into CrossFit and like feels so confident in that. And I'm like so happy for her, because I can tell she's thriving and she's like not restrictive eating anymore.
That's awesome.
But yeah, it's just like now that I'm in my 30s, like this was the first time in my life, I think I was telling you a few months ago, where I like put on a pair of jeans and they didn't go past my thighs. And I was like, and like at first, like naturally I wanted to be like, oh my God, like panic and freak, because that's never happened to me. And then Zach was in the room with me and he was like, it's your muscle, it's your muscle. He was like affirming. He's like, don't worry. And then I talked to you about it like a week after that had happened, and you were like, oh yeah, it's like, it's the muscle you're like putting on. I was like, okay. And that's good. Like, I want muscle. This is what I'm working super hard on and stuff. So anyways, it's just like so crazy to just, I don't know, change your mindset and to not feel guilty for eating, especially with like the holidays coming up. Like, I'm just like, eat what you want. Be balanced. Work out while you're eating too, because that's still good for you. But
it's freeing for sure.
It's so freeing. Are you into like intuitive eating at all?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Just because of my history with like disordered eating, I am like never allowed to diet again. Never allowed to go down that road. So I definitely try. Well, I do intuitively eat, and then I try to teach it to my clients as well.
That's cool.
Yeah, I normally start off by teaching them how to track their macros.
Okay.
If they have like specific weight loss goals or strength goals, like it's important to be a little bit calculated. But once you kind of like put in the reps of doing that, you pretty much know what you're eating. And then I kind of give them more of like a guideline of, instead of like thinking about what foods you should avoid, try to reframe your mindset and think about what food should you be implementing, because food is nutrients. Food is what, you know, revs your entire engine, your entire body. And so it's about like, am I hitting enough protein? Did I get enough, you know, micronutrients and vitamins and minerals, like those types of things, versus like, oh, I can't eat this, I can't eat that. And then once you kind of hit that goal of like, oh yeah, I ate like a balanced day today, you kind of aren't really thinking about like the foods you shouldn't be eating, because you're probably satiated already because you fueled your body properly. So yeah, in terms of that, I try to like teach that, and so people can do that without having to be on a specific diet or having to track calories forever.
Yes, I love that. What would you say would be like an easy start or like an easy approach to like intuitive eating?
I would say learn how to have a balanced plate. Now, a balanced plate could be a protein, a fat, and a carb in every single meal. And so your proteins are going to be like your animal sources or beans, lentils, things like that. Carbs are going to be your rices, your potatoes, vegetables. Fats are going to be your butters, your oils, avocados, things like that. So trying to keep that in mind for every single meal, I think, is a great way to learn how to be intuitive, and that you're getting like all the right nutrients and macronutrients in throughout the day, I think is an easy way to start. Okay.
That's good. I like that. Yeah. I've been doing that lately. So.
I love it.
I basically know everything now. No, but it's so good because during like, again, with the holidays coming up, I'm just like, I'm going to have fun, but still eat like what my body needs. Yeah. So, and then listening to it too. Like for sure. If I'm like truly full, I'm like, I don't have to finish what's on this plate, you know, which like, I feel so bad, like wasting food or just like starting off small. Yeah. Or leftovers too. Yeah, definitely. How do you stay positive with like your diet and your workout routine during the holidays?
I think at the end of the day, it's all about a lifestyle. It was all about just making healthy habits. So I don't really, because I've implemented that, I don't really stress about the holidays. And then also, this might be like an unpopular opinion, but I think people put too much significance on like holiday meals, because at the end of the day, it's just like another meal.
It's just, food.
Which is like with family, and like there might be more desserts and things like that, but at the end of the day, it's just another meal. So
that's so true. Wait, that's literally so true. Why is it like a thing?
I know, it's like people like make it a thing, and it really doesn't need to be a thing.
It's
you
literally
know,
just a normal meal.
Another meal.
Yeah.
You know, like enjoy yourself, have the dessert, but eat how you would normally eat. And I will always say this, like as a trainer, start with your protein source, eat your turkey or whatever. If you do like chicken for Thanksgiving, do that first. Yeah. Just because you know you're going to need it. And then, you know, you'll probably eat less of the crappy foods. Yes. Once you're like more satiated with that. True. Yeah. But yeah, I don't really stress about it. And which is like so freeing, like I said, because holidays used to stress me the F out. Yeah. You know? And so, yeah, I'm grateful for being where I am now. But once you like realize it's just another meal, it's just food. Food is neither good or bad. Like taking away that narrative, it's much easier. And then like you said, like I'm still going to work out during the holidays. I'm not just going to go, oh, it's Thanksgiving week, I'm not going to work out all week. I'm probably not going to work out on Thanksgiving, but I'll probably work out the day before and hop back on the day after, because it's just a part of my lifestyle. It's a part of my routine, you know, but I'm not going to punish myself either. Yes. I think that's another thing people do is they like, oh, I had pie, then I have to run like 5 miles. Like, no, like getting out of that headspace is super important.
That's so true. Oh my gosh. And that's what's cool about our gym. I feel like people are really good at being consistent. I literally see the same people working out every day, which for the longest time, this was like before you started training there, I would go like maybe twice a week. Really? And it was always on cardio days, because I would go every other day, because I'm like, oh, I'm so sore, I'm so tired today, I'm gonna like take tomorrow.
Now you hate cardio.
And every time I would go, I'm like, why is it always cardio? But I wasn't calculating or strategizing. But it's cool like now, because I go 5 days a week, and it's like really cool to see like the same faces, and I'm like, wow, like I don't know everyone's journeys in that gym, but it really is cool to see how consistent like women are, and like how encouraging like everyone is. It's so cool. I'm like, oh.
You are so consistent. I love it. I'm so proud of you. And then you brought your whole squad with you.
Like, you guys are coming with me. Yeah. Well, because we're all getting older, and it's like scary to see like our parents like getting old. Like my mom's like, oh, when she comes, she lives in Florida now, but whenever she like comes out here, when we go out there, she's like, I'm having a hard time like picking up the kids because like my arm hurts. And I'm like, I don't want to be like, it's not for me now, because I've healed. It's like not even like I want to look a certain way, but it's like I just want to be like in my 50s, in my 60s, like still grinding, getting after it, and like feeling good, because I'm like naturally a really energetic person. Yeah. And it will kill me if I like age and I have like my body gives out, you know? And it's really inspiring to see older women in our gym too, who are like killing it.
Beast moding.
Beast mode. I'm like, what the heck? Yes. Because they're so strong. Yeah. So, yeah, I don't remember where I was going.
No, I will say, no, I think that's awesome. And I think that is a super important goal to have in mind outside of something that's like superficial, of like trying to look a certain way, or like I said, fit into like a certain jean size. Like this is, you know, longevity we're talking about here, you know? And a lot of people say like when you age, that first fall is like the kiss of death. Really. It's like,
that's so scary.
You just do have like a really steady decline. And I think that's why like resistance training and weightlifting is so important. And, you know, on the other hand, there is so much research about strength training and that how it benefits you and like the aging process for your brain health and all these things that it's so much more than just looking a certain way. So I think like that goal that you have in mind is a way better motivator than, you know, the aesthetics of like reaching an aesthetic goal.
For sure. Yeah.
And then that's what's going to keep you consistent. Like you're not doing it for you, you're doing it for your kids.
Yeah. Yeah. That's like the first thing I was like talking to Zach about, like we've been packing all week and just like prepping before we like leave for Mexico City. And I'm like, I'm actually going to be so sad that I'm not going to be able to like not just work out, but like see all my homies at the gym. And I was like looking at gyms. I'm like, can I work out? And he's like, just take the week off. I'm like, I don't want to. Like it's like not even because I'm like obsessed with like wanting to reach my goals, but I'm like, my body just feels so good doing it. Like I feel like I can move throughout the day and not be like, oh, my lower back, or like, ouch this, ouch that, you know? So
you have more energy and more mental clarity. You're just like in a better mood. Like I woke up kind of grumpy this morning and I worked out and I was immediately in a better mood. Like it's crazy.
Yeah. I never regret working out even if I have a hard time during the workout, but I regret missing.
Right.
I'm always like,
even if like you're not feeling it, you're having a bad day, you had a bad workout, you're still gonna feel better after.
Yeah, you're still moving your body, which I think actually it was Cass, AJ's wife, who like posted on her story since they just joined a gym, and she was like, it turns out like going to the gym every day and drinking water and eating good really does do good for your mental health.
I love those memes. Like, unfortunately, they were right. Yeah. I feel much better.
You're like, dang it. But no, it's so true. I wanted to ask you too, which I did. It wasn't a question I sent over to you, so my bad. But do you have like what? Okay, which type of workout, like out of like weightlifting, cardio, HIIT, Pilates, all the things, like do you feel like is the most sustainable as you get older?
Definitely weightlifting as you get older. Just having muscle mass on your body is so important. And there is just a lot of research. I listen to Huberman like everyone does, but he talked a lot about, you know, the difference between cardio and strength training, like as you age, and just hands down the longevity and just like overall health biomarkers are so much better with resistance training. With that being said, I will say, and I tell all my clients this, it doesn't matter if you're a runner, a lifter, a yogi, do Pilates, whatever makes you happy and whatever you're going to stick with, like be consistent with, is what you should do. Yeah. If you're just a person who hates lifting weights, don't do it. Find something that's just going to be consistent where you move your body and makes you feel better that you're going to keep up for a long time. But I will say with like just the research, resistance training is the best thing you can do as you age. Yeah.
Okay.
And ladies, it will not make you bulky.
Yes. Okay. That's so funny because I feel like I heard that growing up a lot. Like, oh, I don't want to lift weights because I don't want to get bulky. But I'm like, wouldn't you have to eat like a ton to get to that point?
Those women that look bulky like want to look like that.
Yes.
They're
so
bodybuilders or they're like super competitive, like CrossFitters or something. They're trying to be as big as possible because it benefits whatever like sport they're in.
Yes.
It's like, so I've been lifting since I was 18, 19 years old. Like I don't think I'm bulky. Like I definitely am muscular, but like I don't think I'm bulky.
Right.
So yeah, it's just such a stigma, I think. And I think it's the narrative's getting better out there.
I think so. Yeah. And there's like, it seems like there's more knowledge, more research, especially like from women coaches, women trainers and stuff, which is like so important. Cause like, again, our bodies are so different than men's body. Like Zach could fast all day and like be fine and I would not be okay. Yeah. So it's just like really interesting, but it's cool, which is why I'm excited to have you on because like I'm not an expert either, but I've been sharing a lot of my journey in increments like on social media. And it's like hard because I'm like, I don't want to trigger anyone because I know a lot of people struggle with things, but also it's like really important to like to be like told like it's okay, like you know, like and it's normal unfortunately to struggle with like the relationship with food, but like make changes. You know?
Well, I think, and I appreciate that you post that because you know, I think people, if they are struggling, feel really alone, and I don't think it's a super common thing to just talk openly about. About, you know, disordered eating and stuff like that. And you know, if you do have disordered eating, you're probably hiding it. You know, it's part one of healing is like admitting like I do this with food, like I'm constantly thinking about food. And so I think it's very refreshing for someone to like openly talk about it, and I appreciate that you talk about it because a lot more people struggle than that we think struggle.
It's so true. It's so true. Do you have any like goals or any like anything that you're working towards? I want to know about physical, but I also want to know like in general with like business or training or like anything.
Yeah, I mean, I'm always trying to grow business wise. It's just weird. I kind of like let my business like flow in whatever direction it wants to flow. So I would say in the beginning of the year, I was really heavy online, but as of recently, I have a lot more in-person clients, which is fine, which is fun. Like I like it. So, but I would eventually like to like make like programs that people can just buy for different goals. I want to, in the beginning of the year, start like a group, like an online group project for beginner weightlifters. Okay. So that's probably going to happen.
Fun. That's so fun.
Yeah. I love that. Yeah. And then eventually I want to be very, very good at cooking and hopefully have a cookbook. But
I feel like you are so good at cooking.
I feel like I'm okay. I'm definitely no chef, but I would love to do that. I think that would be so fun, but I need to, you know, perfect my trade a little bit.
I need to be good at it first, and then I will come up with a cookbook.
I would say I'm like good at like healthy like meals that take less than 20 minutes to make. I love cooking. I hate doing dishes. So
wait, but why not make that like what the cookbook is about?
Yeah,
is like
maybe.
for like I'm not saying you're lazy, but like the lazy girl like quick 20-minute meals thing.
Yeah.
Because
exactly.
honestly, when I look at like cookbooks and recipes, I'm like, I don't have 2 hours to do all this. Like, let's be real. And that's part of the reason why I would skip lunch a lot. A lot of it was like because of my mental health stuff, but also I was like, I don't have time to freaking like prep everything and then eat it and then do the dishes. So like that could be your thing too.
I know. Lazy girl cooking.
Lazy girl cooking.
I love it. But yeah, and then physical goals this year. So I also do CrossFit. And then there's this big competition. It's called Wadapalooza. This year it's actually being hosted in Huntington Beach.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so me and a lot of my friends who train at our gym really want to like compete in it. So that'll be happening next October. So probably going to start training for that a lot in the new year.
Okay.
I'm a little burnt out right now during like with competitions and stuff like that. So I've been taking a break and kind of just like moving my body. But yeah, I plan on training heavily for that. In
That's
the start
crazy.
Of 2024, which is so fun.
Oh my, that's huge.
Yeah, I like having a goal to work towards.
Yeah.
You know,
Are you like, you're a goal oriented person?
Yeah, I definitely like work harder if there's like a reason to, you know, like right now I'm kind of in my like burnout. Like I'm just going to work out just to like work out because I know it's good for me. But I definitely like having a purpose towards my training. Yeah. But it's good. You know, you have to respect the phase that you're in. So
yes, I love that.
Yeah.
You're so full of everything you're saying. I'm like, yes. Put it on a shirt. It's so good.
I love you.
I love you. And you recently competed, which I don't think I even like told you about my experience watching you and Lauren and Heather compete. I was crying so much watching you guys work out.
For sure.
I'm always crying. But like, because I never get like, since you guys are our trainers, I don't really get to see you guys like working out. And if you do, you're like working out with us and you're so good at it. But I've never seen you guys like be pushed and like challenged. And I get like, I'm noticing about myself, I get like really emotional like watching people like working towards like a goal and like being in that moment and with them. Like, I'm like a sucker for like shows like American Idol and stuff where like people are like following their dreams and singing in front of people and have this like story and are like being judged by like the whole country. And I get so emotional. So like watching you guys working out, I was like doing like Instagram, but I was also like, like crying. I was like, she just did 75 jump squats.
So that's why there was music over. Not you just stopping in the background.
But it's like, it's really inspiring. And like, I'm also noticing this about myself because were you an athlete like when you were younger?
Yeah, I did competitive cheer.
Okay. So I did cheer, but our school was always too small to compete. So I just did that and dance and like gymnastics, which I feel like, because I was like telling Zach this the other day, I was like, I'm not like an athlete. Like I never had like an athlete. Like I never had a sport that I was like good at. I was always very uncoordinated. And he was like, well, you did like dance. I was like, yeah, I'm naturally like rhythmic. That's so different than like competing and like playing sports against like other teams and all that. So like I've been noticing that about myself through like a gym mindset where I'm like, oh, like sometimes it's really hard for me to like get into the zone of like challenge yourself because I'm like, I don't care enough. Like I almost don't care enough. But now it's like,
no, I totally get that.
But it's really like that for me watching you guys like train and like work out for that was like really cool because I'm like, wow, like you're being pushed, you're like challenging yourselves, and like I just found that really inspiring. And like I hope that I can be like in a place like that someday, like maybe not necessarily in the gym, but like just in general, like being pushed and having like people around you like cheering you on or crying.
Well, you work hard every single workout. Like I love pushing you. Well, you're the type of person I tell you to do something, you just do it. And you know, we also have a competition for members, right?
Wait, we do?
Yes, every year. So you're
gonna yes, yeah.
So I'm gonna sign you up.
Oh my gosh, do it. I'll do it. I'll literally.
All right.
I think. Oh God, I don't know.
This is recorded, so I have your verbal confirmation.
I spoke verbal consent. Like, just kidding. I take it back. Well, we'll see. TBD. But I would love to be in that setting because I've never had to like work for anything like that, and I've never like needed to care enough. So it would be really cool.
No, it's fun. Competing is super fun. I really enjoy it. Like I said, I do it for Burn. I do it for CrossFit. It's just like you really like don't know what you're capable of until like you're
so
put in that position, and then you like go to that dark place.
Yes. Oh my gosh, it's so true. And I love watching you work out because you like zone out, and it's really cool. You just like your eyes get really big, and you. And I was like, she's thinking, like she's like in the zone. Like that's so cool to have like power over like your mind control. I don't know if that makes sense, but to get yourself there and be like, I'm so focused and like nothing's gonna break me right now. So that was really cool to watch.
Just telling myself like not to die in the back of my head, and also like don't look like you're dying.
No, it was so good. It inspired so many people.
You're so sweet. That was so fun.
Okay, last question. Okay. What do you love most about training people?
I just love like when people get a new skill and how excited they are, even if it's as simple as like you were excited about like your push-ups. Yeah. People getting a pull-up, people getting a box jump. It is really just about like being able to, you know, put that confidence in people. Like, I believe in you. Like, why wouldn't you believe in you, you know? And I tell this to people, clients all the time. I'm like, why would I tell you to do something if I didn't think you can do it? You know?
That's so true.
You know? So I really just love, you know, people getting out of their comfort zones and finding their inner confidence and doing something that they didn't think they were able to do. Yeah. So I love it. That's so my favorite part of my job. I get emo when I see people getting their first pull-up. I literally like, I'm not a big crier, but
you look at me.
No, I love it. I love that you cry.
I wish I was both of us.
I love it. But I really do. I get emo. Yeah, I love it.
That's so cool. Well, our community is super grateful for you, and I'm super grateful having you on because I've been wanting to do I've been wanting to do an episode like more about like physical training, exercise, like working out, and I just like I didn't know who to ask because I feel like coming on a podcast is like kind of a scary thing.
It's scary.
It's scary. But you did it and you killed it. Like I loved everything that you said. I was just like, yes. But where can our audience find you on Instagram?
My Instagram is at Kasey Bozz. KASEYBOZZ.
I love that.
I'll try to be better about posting. Valerie was like, you used to post all the time and now you don't anymore.
Like, where are you at? I want to see you.
I'm like, I don't know how you do that. Like, I have so much respect for you to do that. Like, it's a lot for me.
It honestly comes very natural for me because I don't know. I just like, I love sharing things, but like, I totally get why people like just don't like it. It can be very draining and just, it's like, it's not fun.
I want to like it. I've never had any sort of backlash. I'm just not very consistent. Yeah. I'm going to try to be better.
But you're out there living your true life, which is better. Life. I love that. But you should post because we want to see you. See your lazy girl recipes.
Whatever you say, I'll do it.
Okay, well, you guys should follow Kasey. You guys should come to Burn Boot Camp if you want to get your ass kicked by Kasey and our other trainers. But thank you so much. I love you.
I love you too. Thans for having me.
Of course. Bye.